Hey everybody, how's it going today? Ian here, Entertainment Examiner. I'm going to be doing a movie review this week of course, what else? Star Wars Rogue One. So, how is this movie compared to all the other Star Wars films in the long-running sci-fi series? I have all the Star Wars movies actually behind me so I can kind of give you a rough estimate if you don't know what the timeline is if you haven't seen the new movie yet. This movie, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, takes place between Episodes 3, Revenge of the Sith, and Episode 4, A New Hope, which is the last of the prequels and the 1977 classic original where we meet Luke and Leia and Han and Chewie and all the great characters. Now, this movie stars Felicity Jones as Jyn Erso. She is a young girl whose father, played by Mads Mikkelsen, has been recruited back into the Empire to help build something called the Death Star. Of course, we all know the Death Star from the original film. He has put a bug in the software, if you will, of the Death Star, which will cause it to be destroyed later on by Luke in the original film. And I'm not saying spoiler alert, because, well, that film came out in 1977. So, we meet up with Jyn, and she is going to lead a group to try and steal the plans for the Death Star to be given to the Rebel Alliance. Now, that's a basic plot, and it's pretty basic because I don't want to spoil anything else for anybody that hasn't seen the movie yet. I'm sure it'll make big money this weekend. Now, how does this film compare to the other ones? It's about in the middle for me personally. I think that Felicity Jones is very strong in this role. She's terrific as Jyn, perfectly cast. She's a strong-willed girl who is very determined and wants to kind of salvage her father's name from it being ruined by the Empire and their new kind of a new sort of character played by Ben Mendelsohn from Bloodline on Netflix. He's very good in the role as kind of this film's main baddie. But also we have like the main baddie back is Darth Vader, because in this timeline, of course, Revenge of the Sith saw the rise of Darth Vader from Anakin. So if we're between 3 and 4, Vader is in this film. He is in this film, and there's a very effective scene between him and Ben Mendelsohn. There's a couple other scenes with him, one brief and then one more action-y scene near the end. I was really glad they brought back Darth Vader. I thought that was really smart. If you're going to set the film in this timeline, you should do that. Now, pros and cons. Pros. Great acting and great characters, from Jyn Erso to Donnie Yen's character to Riz Ahmed, who was just in The Night Of on HBO. You have a great character in Saw Gerrera, who rescued Jyn when her father was taken when she was young, played really well here by Forrest Whitaker. It's a great team that they assemble. And there's also a fantastic new droid. The new droid is, I even have a Funko Pop of him, is K2SO, voiced by Alan Tudyk. I think that's how you say his name. He's a cool droid. Star Wars knows how to do droids. Put this back up here. Star Wars knows how to do droids. Of course, we had C-3PO and R2-D2, BB-8, and Force Awakens, and now K2. He's a really snarky, sarcastic droid. He's really fun. He's probably the best thing in the movie. So with this team, we have a great cast and a great team and a great crew, and we have great action. This movie looks fantastic. We have the X-Wing and the TIE Fighters fighting like they did in the original film. The movie also looks like a throwback to how a movie would have looked like pre-1977 at times, in terms of all the costuming and the whole visuals, which I think was really smart, because what the prequels didn't do was they looked like they were made in the 2000s. They didn't look like they were prequels. They looked like they were sequels. So this film looks great, it sounds great, it looks beautiful. The island or the location they're on, it kind of look like an island, the planet, there we go. The planet that they have the final battle sequence in looks great. Palm trees, sandy beaches, and AT-AT walkers. So the movie delivers on all those fronts. Now, why is this not like a great, brilliant Star Wars film like the original or Empire or even Force Awakens? The movie wants to be too much of a Star Wars film. And that may sound strange, but I will explain. The movie relies too much on characters from the past. Not only do we see Vader, but the movie bookends right into Episode 4. Like, it comes right into it. And while that's really neat, the way they tied everything together, it's almost too neat. If you want it to be a Star Wars story, like the title suggests, I think they should have tried to have put it mainly about Jin and the characters in it. There are great characters. I loved Donnie Yen's character. He was fantastic. I think that if they would have given us more of them and had us know these characters and let us have a little bit of a backstory, it would have been neat if they'd have gone from like planet to planet and have you kind of meet them all and their different personality. And in the movie, they all come around at the convenient time to join Jin's team to find the Death Star plans. I think they should have relied on their cast a little more instead of trying to please everybody. I understand there'll be your hardcore fans who want to see. There's some neat cameos in it from different people, and of course Darth Vader is back. But I think that a standalone story works when it's a standalone story. And this is, I give it to Disney. They did a good job here. They've really never done this before. This is the first movie, or at least mainstream movie that I can think of outside of the Star Wars universe that's not in an episode. Like, these are episodes. It doesn't have the opening crawl during the beginning, but it doesn't need to, because it's its own entity. And I wish that the directors and writers would have made it its own entity a little bit better, instead of trying to bring in so much familiarity with it. Overall, though, I thought Star Wars Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I keep wanting to put Star Wars first. Rogue One, a Star Wars story, was a lot of fun. It's a good movie, very enjoyable, and it's about in the middle of the Star Wars canon. Better than these, not as good as these, including Force Awakens. But maybe that's because we're so used to these characters from back in the 70s that we know them, Han and Luke and Leia and Chewie and the droids, and we've gotten so many years to know them, 40 years. And but if you're going to introduce new characters and a universe of characters that we already know, it would be nice if I think we could have spent a little more time getting to know all of them and maybe even having a little more fun with them. Diego Luna is also great as Cassian. He's kind of almost a love interest of sorts to Jin a little bit, maybe. And that combined with the new droid, and then Ben Mendelsohn's villain, and the return of Vader, makes for a good Star Wars film. We're giving this a solid 3 out of 4. Not higher because of the flaws I've talked about. I think the film is flawed. It's not perfect, but it's good, and it's an enjoyable chapter in the Star Wars series. Next up, of course, will be Episode 8 next year, where we'll jump back in the timeline and follow Finn and Rey and Luke and Leia. And then I think they're going to do a Han Solo film with Alden Ehrenreich, I forget how to say his name, and Donald Glover from Community and Atlanta on FX, so that'll be exciting. So, Rogue One, go see it. I definitely recommend it. So, that's all for Entertainment Examiner today. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.
There is a 97.6% chance of failure.
He means well.
This is our chance to make a real difference. Are you with me?
All the way.